Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome from Jakarta. My name is Sigmund Nemeti. I'm the Commercial Counselor of the Austrian Embassy Commercial Section, Advantage Austria, here in Jakarta, Indonesia. Welcome to today's subject, which is our webinar on the health sector in Indonesia. Our webinar in the health sector in Indonesia will cover both the medical device sector and the pharmaceutical sector. And we have the honor to have very prominent speakers today, Dr. Randy Teguh from the Indonesian Association of Medical and Laboratory Device Enterprise, GAKES Lab Indonesia, and Mr. Mario Setiadi, Director, and Mr. Kevin Wijaya, Deputy Director of the Indonesian pharmaceutical company, Simex Pharmaceutical Indonesia. Before I give the word to our experts, I would like to present a few facts about Indonesia for those of you who have not yet been to our beautiful country here. The Republic of Indonesia is situated in Southeast Asia. It is a very large country with over 1.9 million square kilometers. That's almost 23 times as large as Austria. With a population of over 270 million people. It's the fourth most populous country in the world. More than half of the population live in cities, and only on the island of Java, on which we are here in Jakarta, over 150 million people live. The country consists of over 17,500 islands, but of course not all of them are inhabited. But of course, that does create challenges in the infrastructure and logistical field. It's the largest economy in Southeast Asia, part of the G20, has an annual growth of over 5% of the GDP, and is member of ASEAN and the RCEP. The Republic of Indonesia has 38 provinces at the moment, 9 of them with a special status. The largest city is Jakarta. A picture of Jakarta you see here in our slide, which was taken by me on a very nice, clear day. Unfortunately, not all days are this clear. It is the political and economic center of Indonesia, and Jakarta itself, as a metropolitan area, has over 33 million people. Other large cities in Indonesia are Bandung, Surabaya, Medan, Semarang, Makassar, Palembang, and Yogyakarta. All of them have over 1 million inhabitants, and most of these are on the island of Java. Who are the main trading partners of Indonesia? Indonesian exports Indonesian exports are in the area of mineral products. This is, for instance, coal or liquefied gas, animal and vegetable fats, oils and waxes. Here, palm oil is very prominent. Metals, iron and steel, and other metals. And diverse electrical and mechanical machinery and equipment. Also, textiles play an important role in Indonesian exports. Indonesia imports diverse machinery from all over the world. It imports refined mineral products like petroleum, basically petrol, diesel, etc. It imports chemical products, metals, and vehicles, both built-up vehicles and also their parts. Who are the main trading partners of Indonesia? Well, on the export side, meaning Indonesian exports abroad, it is China, which imports commodities mainly, the EU, which imports, amongst others, commodities, mineral products, but also textiles and shoes. And Austria, as a member of the EU, it basically imports Indonesian textile shoes, machinery, metals. The USA imports also textiles, plastics, machinery from Indonesia. Japan, mainly on the commodity side. The same is true for Singapore and India. From the following countries, Indonesia imports. The main trading partner here again is China, where Indonesia imports machinery, metals, textiles. Singapore, different mineral products, machinery, and chemical products. From the EU, mainly technical products and chemicals. Also from Austria. Here we have imports, Indonesian imports from Austria are machinery, paper, synthetic fibers, instruments, pharmaceuticals. From Japan, it's machinery, vehicles, metals. From Thailand, also machinery and vehicles, partly plastics, rubber. And from South Korea, also mainly technical products. I would now come to the actual subject of today's webinar, the healthcare sector, and offer you a little bit of information of general sort. The total state healthcare budget is around 11.3 billion US dollars. Of this healthcare spending is about 3.1% of the GDP in 2022. That's about 150 US dollars per person. 52% of the budget allocated for improving of the healthcare budget is allocated for improving primary healthcare, infrastructure, and technology. And the budget is also used for a further rollout of the Indonesian national health insurance scheme called JKN. The aim is one day to have full coverage of healthcare in Indonesia amongst the entire population. 0.5 doctors exist in Indonesia per 1,000 inhabitants. There's 1.1 hospital beds per 1,000 inhabitants, and 19.7 is the infant mortality rate per 1,000 live births. And the infant mortality rate is shrinking. And with this short information, I would like to invite our first guest speaker, Dr. Randy Teguh from Gakislab, Indonesia. Dr. Randy Teguh is the Secretary General of the Indonesian Association of Medical and Laboratory Device Enterprise, Gakislab, Indonesia. And Dr. Randy will present to us the medical device and laboratory equipment sector here in Indonesia. Dr. Randy, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sigmund, for the introduction. Yes, what have been said by Sigmund earlier is much easier for me to give my presentation, especially in the last part regarding the situation of healthcare in Indonesia. Good morning, probably, for all of you, ladies and gentlemen in Austria. It's my honor to be here in the webinar of healthcare sector from Indonesia. Yes, my task today is to bring you the information regarding the medical device business environments, of course, the opportunity and challenges, what you will face go to Indonesia. I have only 4 agenda. One, certainly, I would like to introduce you about Gakislab Indonesia. Second, the highlight of the market. The third one is the policy on medical device procurement in government healthcare facilities. And the last one, probably the most recent situation regarding the update on halal implementation. So Gakislab Indonesia is the Association of Medical Device and Laboratory Device Enterprise Association. We established in 1977. We are now coverage around, we have a member of more than 1,300 members. We have a committee in 23 provinces. 80% of our member is small and medium enterprises, and then currently we have more than 150 manufacturers. So Gakislab member is consist from end-to-end, which is start from the R&D, from manufacturing, distribution, importer, exporter, and also after sales services, something like a medical waste management company as well. We have a broad and network locally and abroad, and then most of, I believe, almost 100% of multinational company here in Indonesia also are member. I can say big names like GE, Siemens, Philips is also a member of Gakislab. This is regarding the committee. I'm the Secretary General. We have Pak Sugiyadi as a chairman, and then to run the organization, we have 5 divisions and 2 bodies. You can see in the last one, in the right side, the red font, that we have a local manufacturing development body. It is created recently in these 2-3 years because the direction of the government is toward to the local manufacturing. I will explain later on the relation of this topic about local manufacturing. This is probably the most interesting for you. Actually, I have missed one slide that later on I will give to Sigmund to populate to you. The background on this first slide, actually, we have to inform you that the Ministry of Health Indonesia currently have a 6 pillar of Indonesian healthcare transformation. Which is that from that 6 pillar, one of the pillar regarding the business on medical device and pharma, and the direction on primary healthcare towards prevention, detection, etc. So with this 3 main program, you can see that the routine immunization will be strengthening. Now we have only 11 program to increase to be 14, and then this is regarding the vaccination. And the second one, there is a 14 screening priority of disease, because Indonesia understand that the cost of the treatment, the rehabilitation will be increased, so they will move forward to go to the detection and screening. So that 1 until 14 will be the main focus. So for those of you who have technology and then the relationship of the detection or the screening of these diseases, will have much opportunity here in Indonesia. And the last one, certainly, as Indonesia have a problem still in the maternal and child healthcare, so they will preparing all the facility to strengthening the monitoring and the development of the mother and child healthcare. This is also the interesting information for you, I believe, because Indonesia have a trend currently actually 38 provinces. So before is 34, but recently they add another 4 provinces. So from that 38 provinces, the Ministry of Health understand that only 22 provinces who has a cath lab facility. So they plan in their 6 pillar of transformation of healthcare to complete the setup of 34 and then now 38 provinces, at least the same facility of hospital across the country, across the provinces. On top of that, they will also would like to complete the set of hospital in the around 500 district, so the second layer of provinces. So in this sense, I would like to highlight that the opportunity to healthcare business, especially in the medical device, will be positive, because then there will be a lot of infrastructure built, a new facility, upgrade facility, that certainly they will need a lot of medical devices relation to this new facility. The total budget is around 31 trillion of Indonesian rupiah. It's budgeting until 2027. There will be 2 phases that you will see, but yes, this is the so-called the budget that will be used from the government to complete the transformation of a hospital completeness across the Indonesia. Certainly 70% of the budget will come from the government, and the rest is come from the private and then the public-private partnership as well. On the medical device market, actually it's quite small today, but opportunity is high, as our market growth will be twice, because the key growth driver will be certainly increasing of number of population. As mentioned earlier by Sigmund, is around 275, but last week I heard it's already 280 million of population here in Indonesia. So they're also expanding private provider. Now the latest information, the ratio between hospital of public and private almost 50-50. In the number of public hospital is more around 3,000 hospital, and then the private one almost 3,000, which is 2,800 hospital. And then certainly the rising prevalence of chronic diseases. That's why the governments also would like to taking care the early detection or the screening of chronic diseases like a stroke, heart, diabetes, TB, cancer, etc. You can see by yourself later on the number, and then this is also the data that in relation of a local manufacturing based on the data in 2020 in 2022 from the e-catalog, Indonesian procurement electronic catalog. In the left side, you see based on the volume, the top 10 almost locally manufacturing, but by value, the one that in red font is still imported, like CT scan, X-ray, endoscopy, and the accessories, MRI, etc. And then that's why that also the opportunity for you to come to Indonesia. If you would like to set up the business here in Indonesia, if you think that you would like to win the market, the possibility if you can bring your technology in the possible way to make your product is made in Indonesia, and so-called you will win the market. The third one regarding the policy of medical device procurement in government health facility. So yes, the pandemic of COVID give a lot of lesson learned from Indonesian government, because before the pandemic, during the era of 2018 2020, 90% of medical device here in Indonesia is imported. So we are really dependent on the importation. So at the beginning of pandemic, we are really hard to find the medical device for the doctor, the nurses, not even for the patient. So that's why the government suddenly realized that we have to change the situation. So they released a lot of regulation to really cover that the local production is really incentivized or motivized. A new regulation, which is the Ministry of Health decree on 2022 regarding the substitution of importation product through the e-catalog, which is they will implement the freeze and unfreeze process. Means the importation product still can be imported, but they will doing the screening during the purchasing way through the e-catalog, which is if the product already have locally manufacturing or considered as a made in Indonesia, and the importation product will be freeze. Then the public hospital, the procurement body cannot purchase this importation product because the system will block the click. So they call it the freeze. And then they also realize if the local manufacturing capacity is not yet enough, then they will unfreeze the importation product later on. So like the example now currently the product of ultrasonography 2D, 2 dimension is being freeze because the capacity of local production is already enough. But the ultrasonography 3 dimension and 4 dimension is still unfreeze because the capacity of the product is not yet met the need of the market. I hope I still have time. Yes, so this is the way they will do the screening of the procurement on the local production. They have a regulation regarding a local content. So no worries, there is a regulation how to do the calculation of local content, especially for medical device. It just released last year in the mid of 2022, which is 20% of value of local content will be research and development. The 80% will be cost-based and process-based of the local manufacturing. So if your product is considered local content is more than 25%, certainly if you can also add another value of your company until minimum of 40%, there will be first priority, or we call it, it has to be purchased from a local hospital, from a public hospital. And then if there is no product with more than 25% value of local content, then the hospital, the public official have to buy and priority a local content or product which is less than 25%. If there is no product such as less than 25%, then local product without local content can be purchased. And then after that, the last option is an imported product. So there will be a 4-layer. The first one is the product where have more than 25 or 45% of local content, then 25% no local content but local product, and the last one will be importation. Import product can be purchased. Yes, so before I move to the last one regarding the halal implementation, the key message of the presentation before this, that you first, the priority for you is to make, if you would like to win the market, you have to try to be able to make your product as a local product, as a made Indonesia, and then after that try to as much as possible to meet the local content criteria. That's the key message of the previous presentation. Now I move to the latest one regarding the halal implementation of medical device. So in this halal regulation, please allow me to explain that halal is something which is allowed by Islam Sharia, and tayyib is something safe, good, clean, healthy, and harmless. Yeah. The background of halal implementation, actually, probably you know already that Indonesia, with that 280 million population, considered as the biggest country with a Muslim population, because Muslim population in Indonesia is around 90%. So 90% of 280 million is quite big, even bigger than Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and etc. So actually Indonesia is not a Muslim country. Indonesia is a republic country, but because of the population of Muslim is high, dominant, so the halal implementation is really needed. So they release a law on halal. And the idea of government Indonesia would like to be the front end of a halal industry for the world. So they started with the cosmetic, food, and beverage, and then for drugs also probably will be started soon. And medical device I will explain later on. But with this, you have to consider your product as halal, not mention of tayyib. And then haram is something forbidden by Muslim Sharia, such as a carcass, blood, pork, animal slaughter not in accordance of Islam Sharia, alcoholic beverage, and wild animals. The exception certainly is sea animal or animal live in the water. They include this as a halal product. So this is the regulation. The first one is law released in 2014, and then followed by the government regulation in 2021, presidential regulation 2023 just recently released. Miss Typo is 2033, and then certainly followed by ministry regulation regarding the technical regulation. So the two technical regulations, certainly Ministry of Religion and then Ministry of Health. So regarding the halal and haram will go to the Ministry of Religion. Regarding the tayyib, the first, the earlier mentioned or explained is go to the Ministry of Health. So the Ministry of Health still have to manage regarding this, the quality, safety, efficacy, etc. So this is the situation, the mandatory of all medical device and IVD which contain substance coming from animal or animal derivative will have to go to the halal certification. And regarding the timeline for implementation, because Indonesia follow the Asian Medical Device Classification, which is in line with the EU classification. We have a Class A, B, C, and D. So the government regulator already agreed that the implementation for Class A will be started in 2026. Class B will be started on the 17th October in 2029. Class C will be started on the 17th October 2034. And then the last one, Class D, will be started on the 17th October of 2039. But that is the deadline. And then I noticed in the market, the company who would be able to start the halal certification, they started already because they would like to so-called have that advantage to become the winner of in the market. And then the third one, medical device with sources of material which are not yet halal certified and are not yet manufactured with halal process can still be distributed as long as sources of material are mentioned. So in this statement, your product is not have to be follow halal not yet because of the source of material, but also for the production process, because they would like to see how is the process is really contaminated or not with the source of material, haram material or not. And then it will be reviewed and audited as well. And then the fourth one, for the non-halal identification for medical device, must use font with different color for the non-halal material as the label. So in the number 3 and the 4, if your product is not yet halal, you have to prepare the label, which is in the number 3. You have to mention the source of the material, and then if your product is categorized as a non-halal, in the number 4, you have to put the non-halal identification in the label. The last one, regulation on the information of material sources on the label, will be defined at later step in relevant regulation. Now we as an association still in the process and doing a lot of consultation, advocation to the relevant regulator body to really make this process of a halal implementation on medical device is really smooth and not really burdening the industry. So yes, that will be my last slide. So thank you very much for your kind attention. Certainly after this, we hand it over to Sigmund and the team to probably will be a lot of question and answer. In this slide, you will see the website, the email, etc., that you can email to me later on if there is still another question or clarification needed. Thank you very much and have a good day. Back to you, Sig.
Dr. Andy, thank you very much. Dr. Andy Teguh from Gakislab, Indonesia, the Indonesian Association of Medical and Laboratory Device Enterprise. If you have any questions concerning what Dr. Andy presented, there will be a question and answer session after our second presentation. At this point, I would also like to say that this presentation is recorded, and the recording will be made available to you over YouTube, over the Außenwirtschaft Austria YouTube channel in a couple of days. Dr. Andy, thank you very much for your presentation, and please stay with us at a little bit later stage for questions and answers. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Andy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to come to the second part of our presentation. The second part of our presentation deals with the pharmaceutical sector here in Indonesia. And we are happy to have two very knowledgeable and special guests today. Mr. Mario Setiadi, who's Director of CIMEX Pharmaceutical Indonesia, and Mr. Kevin Vijaya, who is the Deputy Director of CIMEX Pharmaceutical Indonesia. Mr. Mario and Mr. Kevin will be presenting the pharmaceutical sector here in Indonesia.
Hi, good morning for those participants in Austria. Hello from Jakarta. Okay, today I will briefly talk to you about the pharmaceutical market industry in Indonesia. There are several points that we're gonna present. I will share my presentation with my Deputy Director. Okay, let's start to the next slide. At first, I will briefly introduce about PT CIMEX Pharmaceutical Indonesia, which is the company that I'm working. We have been established from the year 2000, and we have an existing products more than 120 SKU. Our products also have been spread all over the province in Indonesia. We have our representatives are spread throughout all provinces of Indonesia to facilitate our customer needs. We have 90 branches spread across all provinces in Indonesia. Summary. As you had heard before, that the current population of Indonesia is around 280 million, according to the Worldometer data, and 56.4% of the population is living in urban area, and the median age in Indonesia is about 29.7 years. All the population in Indonesia are covered by national insurance they call BPJS. Based on the data from the Ministry of Health, until the year 2021, there are 241 medicine manufacturing industries, 17 pharmaceutical raw material industries, 132 traditional medicine industries, and 18 natural product extraction industries. Okay, I will briefly talk to you about the market overview growth of pharmaceutical industry in Indonesia for the 3 years. In the year 2019, there is a growth of about 8.48%. In the year 2020, there are about 9.39%. In the year of 2021 is 9.61%. And the valuation about in the year 2020 is about 7.6 billion US dollar. In the year 2021 is about 8.6 billion US dollars. Forecasted to expand to about 11.8 billion in the year of 2025. Okay. Sorry, let me go back. Okay. Top imported partner of Indonesia mainly is in China. China is the biggest. USA, Belgium, Spain, and India. And top export partners of Indonesia is Philippines, Singapore, Taiwan, India, and Nigeria. Most of our drugs in Indonesia is divided by 75% for domestic companies and the remaining 25% for foreign companies. The main key to expansion of the pharmaceutical market in Indonesia is to increase the type of products, especially innovative products and generic products. And we will talk about the disease trend that is happening in Indonesia right now. The mainly is the stroke disease, cardiovascular, diabetes, tuberculosis, liver, chronic obstruction pulmonary disease, diarrhea, hypertension, and upper respiratory disease and neonatal. Okay. Okay, here is about the distribution system that works in Indonesia. We have government pharmaceutical factory and private factory. Okay, it is the government usually they will supply the finished product, they will distribute through a distributor of the government distributor, where they can distribute to the hospital. Government distributor also is able to take in private company products for them to distribute. The private distributor will also distribute to the hospital, pharmacy, and also traditional drugstore in Indonesia.
Okay, thank you, Pak Mario. I'll continue on our presentation about the regulation to import finished products. Indonesia has one of the more strict regulation to import finished products. The main thing that is to know is you must have a local partner to register and import your products. And all of these imported products in the pharma market, as in drugs, cosmetics, food supplements, and so on, they have to be registered at our BPOM, or it's our Indonesian FDA. Okay, and there is a lot of standard documents to be fulfilled, but there may also be some local clinical trials, clinical evaluations to be done. Okay, and your partner must have a manufacturing facility in Indonesia. The expected timeline to register imported finished product is about 2 years. And these are some of the categories. Okay. Number one is for the new drugs. Okay, which means it's a completely new chemical, completely new molecule, not registered at all at our FDA or our BPOM. Okay, so this is the number one category, and it is the strictest one. It will require a lot of local clinical evaluation. Number two is the copy drug registration, which means there is already what we call an originator, or somebody already registered similar or the same product into our BPOM or our FDA. Then you can register the similar product in easier manner. Okay, and then the third one is for drugs products that have already been registered, and they just need to be renewed. They need to be renewed at least once every 5 years, and there may also be needed another clinical evaluation if needed. Okay, and Dr. Randy already touched upon the e-catalog system. It's the system to get into the e-catalog system is more or less the same, but for the pharmacy, there is a standard national formularium where the product needs to be submitted as well. But to use the e-catalog system or the software, the website is more or less the same as in the medical device. Okay. And the same as in especially for the drugs and the supplements, there needs to be a halal certificate. Also, our factory, CMEX, has already been halal certified, but you're again mentioned as well by our friend Dr. Randy, these products need to have halal certification in Indonesia as well, and possibly they need to be verified by our local halal body. Okay. Okay. Yes. So again, for to get the halal certificate, there needs to be supporting document for halal, for example, porcine-free statement and the manufacturing flow chart and so on. And then there needs to be an evaluation for LPPOM, MUI, and then again approved by BPOM. Okay. Okay, that's the end of our short presentation. Thank you. If you need to contact us again, we will be very happy to speak to you. You can contact us. You can visit our website as well. and you can contact us through Advantage Austria. Thank you very much.
Thank
Back
you.
to you, Sigmund.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much, Mr. Mario Setiadi. Thank you very much, Mr. Kevin Wijaya from CIMEX Pharmaceutical Indonesia for this presentation of the Indonesian pharmaceutical industry here in this country. And as I already mentioned before, now we have the possibility of a question and answer session. I see that we already have some questions coming in on the chat function of this software. For those of you who have any further questions which you would like to ask to either Dr. Randy Tegu, who's sitting on the other side of this trio here, and Mr. Mario Setiadi, who is sitting in the middle beside me from CIMEX, and Dr. Randy Tegu from Gakislab. If you have any questions, you can type it into the question and answer chat, and we will be happy to answer them. For those questions which we cannot answer during this short session, we will convey them to either Dr. Randy or Mr. Mario and Mr. Kevin, and we will ask them for a written answer, which we will convey back to you.
Yes.
So I see here a question which concerns medical devices. Dr. Randy, the question is, how can an Austrian company enter the Indonesian market with its medical devices?
Wow, it's really a good question, actually. Hopefully, based on the information earlier by Sigmund, the information from my side, and also later the later stage from Mario and Kevin, probably you will understand that Indonesia is really interesting country and a lot of opportunity. That's why there is a question regarding this. So actually, for those of you who would like to come to Indonesia as an importation product or the imported product, there is a three-way. First of all, you can come directly as a investment, which is you can set up your own legal entity here in Indonesia as an Indonesian company. The second one, certainly you can partnering or appoint a business deal with a local distributor as your partner here for your business. But certainly you will so-called lose the control of your business. And then the third one, you can appoint independent license holding in Indonesia. So this company so-called will become the representative of your product on behalf of you here in Indonesia. Meanwhile, the business can be delivered or goes to the real distributor here in Indonesia. That's the three main way. But on top of that, because of the direction of government of Indonesia toward the local production, like I explained earlier, so if you would like to win the market, because now the situation is like, who will be the first in the market as a local product, as a made Indonesia, so-called will win the market. So I really strongly suggest if you can consider to come to Indonesia to find a way, if possible, to set up your local manufacturing here in Indonesia, joint venture or direct investment. If not, then the second one, you can collaborate with local manufacturing here in Indonesia. You do OEM, ODM, contract manufacturing, or use Indonesian contract manufacturing here as a part of a supply production of your product here in Indonesia. And then the third one, certainly if you can try to find a way to do the research and development of a new product here in Indonesia. As long as your product considered as a local product, there's a certain percentage of local content, you will win the market. So actually, basically, there's the answer, Sigmund.
Dr. Randy, thank you very much. I have another question here. It concerns pharmaceuticals. Mr. Mario, the question is, do exporters of raw materials for pharmaceuticals have a good chance on the Indonesian market?
I think they have a very high chance because Indonesian raw material 90% of raw material is still we still import from other countries. So the market is still very, very, very huge for Austrian company that can supply and support Indonesian market.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mario. Let me see. The questions are rolling in. Let's see what we have here. Yes, the next question is again addressed towards Dr. Randy. Dr. Randy, the question is there an official list published stating the top needed medical equipment in Indonesia?
It's really a good question. Actually, in my presentation, if you can see, there is information regarding the top volume and the top value of product of medical device which is being purchased through the e-catalog. That at least the thing that you can use as the first step. And then the second one, certainly if you have a local partner here, this partner can go to the Ministry of Health of website of information. There will be a list of local product and importation product, so that can be seen which product which is not yet local product, which is the opportunity for you to make it as a made in Indonesia or local product. Yes, so the answer is there is no formal list, but yes, we can, or you and your partner can find a way to find that list of a product of medical device.
Thank you.
That answered the question.
Thank you, Dr. Andy. Thank you very much. Another pharmaceutical question came in, and the question is of a general nature. How can an Austrian pharmaceutical company be successful in Indonesia? Mr. Mario, would you take that question?
Yeah. I think first of all, Austrian companies have to be very innovative. That hopefully that they can supply and they can create something which is unique and very very good, so that they can register in Indonesia. Even though if something is unique, it's not easy to register, but with the proper support of the document and the clinical trial, you should be able to supply and register in Indonesia the product.
So in other words, Mr. Mario, if it is a very specialized pharmaceutical product,
yep,
the chances are good.
Yes.
If it's more generic, if it's more more widely offered, then there's probably a lot of competition.
Yes, because common products, they have already common manufacturer, common suppliers.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to be fighting with the pricing strategy.
Mm-hmm.
The market is already very competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Andy, another question concerning medical devices. Is there a political strategy to treat certain diseases with priority? Therefore, are specific medical devices highly needed?
Oh, okay. This is a really good question as well. So yes, if you look at my earlier slide of presentation, you can see the political strategy, it is toward to the prevention. So if your product goes to the detection, screening, it will be good. There is a needed of product toward that political direction. And then second one regarding the vaccination program. So if your product related to the vaccination, certainly will be needed. And then the third one regarding the mother and child healthcare. So if your product related to the how to monitor the health of a pregnant woman, to the new baby, etc., it certainly will be needed. And then yes, the government as well have their own KPI in terms of the healthcare situation, like they have a special target to reduce the stunting. So if your product stunting, so not stunting, sorry, it's stunting, means if your product have feature and benefit to would be able to monitor the development of kids or babies. It will be good because now a lot of product needed something like anthropometry, etc., etc. Yes, there is a political strategy which is released by the Ministry of Health that you can use to grow your business here in Indonesia.
Dr. Randy, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I think the essence of today's presentation, both in the medical devices field and in the pharmaceutical field, is that there's a lot of opportunity in Indonesia. Indonesia is a big country. Indonesia is a country which has a large and growing population.
Yes.
And the amount of medical devices and pharmaceuticals is still limited. There's a lot of scope for improvement. The authorities in Indonesia are working on this, especially since COVID. There has been even more planning going into increasing capacities, improving capacities. Some capacities will be local content. Some things will have to be imported, but definitely the general medical field is growing in a robust way.
Yes.
And in this sense, I would like to draw your attention to an event that our office, the Advantage Austria office here in Jakarta, is planning. In October, from 18th to the 21st of October of this year, 2023, there will be the Hospital Expo Indonesia 2023. This is the place to go to if you want to find out what is being offered on the medical market, medical devices and pharmaceutical market here in Indonesia. And our office was able to secure a well-situated stand at the Hospital Expo Indonesia. And we will be offering you a catalog exhibit stand at this exhibition, which is the hospital and the medical exhibition in the country. It was very well visited last year, and we are very optimistic that also this year it will be extremely well visited. If you're interested in participating in our catalog exhibit, please feel free to contact us. It is possible to participate with the catalog itself as a catalog exhibit, but also in person. Please contact our office if you need any details. All the questions and answers, or all the questions which we were not able to answer today, we will convey to Dr. Randy and to Mr. Mario and Mr. Kevin, and ask them to answer them in writing, and we will convey them back to you. In the meantime, I would like to end our webinar with our contact details. We are in constant touch with Mr. Mario and Mr. Kevin from CIMEX Pharmaceuticals Indonesia and Dr. Randy Teguh from Gakislab. If you have any questions, if you need their contact details, please don't hesitate to contact us. We will be very happy to convey the contact details so that you can get in direct touch with Mr. Mario, Mr. Kevin from CIMEX Indonesia, CIMEX Pharmaceuticals Indonesia, and Dr. Randy Teguh from Gakislab Indonesia. With that, we would like to thank you very much for paying attention to our webinar. We think that a lot of interesting information was conveyed today. And if you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. In the meantime, we wish you a nice morning in Europe and a nice afternoon here in Southeast Asia. From Jakarta, a good day to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.